Welcome to The Explainer. We're all about turning complex topics into clear, actionable guides. And today, we're building a personal roadmap for one of the most transformative technologies of our time, artificial intelligence.
Look, the AI revolution isn't on the horizon. It's here, and it's reshaping industries and careers as we speak. So the big question isn't if you should learn about it, but how. Today, we're going to demystify how you can get started based on your own personal goals.
All right, so first things first, let's set the stage. We are firmly in a new era where AI has leaped from the pages of science fiction to become a fundamental tool in our professional lives.
Think about it this way. Not too long ago, knowing how to use a computer or the internet became a baseline skill for pretty much every job. Well, AI is hitting that exact same point. No matter what your role is, knowing the basics can seriously boost your productivity, amp up your creativity, and just plain sharpen your decision-making. So where do you begin? It's a huge topic, right? Well, your entire journey really starts with one key decision. And honestly, this is probably the most important choice you'll make before you even think about opening a course or a book.
You basically have two main paths. Over here on the left, you've got the AI user, whose goal is to use AI tools really effectively. And on the right, the AI builder, who wants to create new AI systems from the ground up. And just look at the difference. The commitments are worlds apart. Are you looking to master AI tools in maybe 10 or 20 hours? Or are you ready to buckle in for months, maybe a year plus, of learning programming and advanced math?
Okay, let's explore that first path, becoming a savvy AI user. The really great news here is that you can get started with a tiny investment of time. It all just boils down to understanding a few core ideas.
At the heart of almost all modern AI is machine learning. This is the engine that makes it all go. Instead of being programmed with millions of rigid rules, these systems learn from massive amounts of data. They identify patterns and make predictions on their own, a lot like how we learn from our own experiences.
And this brings us right to the technology you've probably heard about and almost certainly used, generative AI. These are the models, think ChatGPT or Midjourney, that take everything they've learned from that huge sea of data and then create totally new, original content just from the prompts you give them.
So, how does that actually work? It's basically a three-step process. First, a huge foundation model gets trained on incredible amounts of data, basically a giant chunk of the internet. Next, that general model gets fine-tuned for a specific purpose, like being a chatbot. And finally, it generates new content for you. That cycle of generation, evaluation, and more tuning just keeps on going.
Now, even as a user, it is absolutely critical to get a handle on the ethics. Responsible AI isn't just for the developers. You, me, all of us need to be asking, can we explain its decisions? Is it fair and free from bias? Is it secure? And is it protecting our privacy? Being a smart AI user means being a responsible one, period.
Okay, but what if you're drawn to actually creating these systems yourself? Let's switch gears and look at that second path, the AI builder. The toolkit required here, as you'll see, gets a whole lot more extensive. As a builder, your journey is almost certainly going to start with Python. I mean, it's the dominant language by a mile, used in about 70% of all AI and machine learning projects. That's because it's pretty readable and it has all these powerful libraries that do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And yeah, we got to talk about the math. Concepts from linear algebra, calculus, and statistics are essential if you want to understand how these models really work. But here's the good news. And this quote nails it. You don't need to be a math PhD to get started. A fundamental grasp of the concepts is more than enough to get you on your way. Now, this is fascinating because it shows you the hidden, kind of unglamorous work of AI. Developers spend a staggering 70 to 80% of their time not on coding fancy algorithms, but on cleaning, managing, and preparing data. Getting the data right is the most critical and, by far, the most time-consuming part of building great AI. Okay, so you've thought about your path. You know what it takes to be a user or a builder. Now, where do you actually go to start learning for free? Luckily, you don't have to look very far. The world's biggest tech companies, the ones actually building this stuff, like Google, Microsoft, and AWS, have all created excellent,
totally free learning pathways for both aspiring users and builders.
And here are some of the best places to start. If you're on the user path, you have to check out Google's AI Essentials. It's less than 10 hours, and it's all about productivity. If you're leaning more towards the builder path, Microsoft's AI 900 course is a fantastic entry point. Or you can dive into the hands-on trainings from AWS.
So let's put it all together. We've gone over the paths, the core concepts, the resources. Now let's actually chart what your personal AI course might look like. If you do choose the builder path, just remember this is a marathon, not a sprint. A typical journey starts with those foundational skills, Python, some math, then you move into the core machine learning algorithms, and eventually you specialize and start building your own projects. It's a serious multi-month commitment, and the contrast between the two paths couldn't be more stark. In the end, your choice really comes down to this: a short sprint of about 10 to 20 hours to become an effective AI user, or a long-distance run of 1,000 hours or more in your first year alone to become an AI builder. Both are valuable, but they are fundamentally different journeys. So here's the most crucial point. Your AI learning journey doesn't start with writing a line of code. It doesn't begin with watching a tutorial. It begins with a simple but powerful choice you have to make about your own goals, your destination. Are you a user or are you a builder? Thanks for joining us for this explainer. You know, AI is in a constant state of learning and evolution every single day. So the only question left is, are you?